Get worse through the night tonight and into tomorrow morning. So let's take a look at some of the snowfalls. This was as of last night. Environment Canada hasn't sent out an update since. At that point in time last night, Calgary at the airport already reporting 9 centimeters of snow, locally up to 12 centimeters, some of our weather observers have said. The snowfall warnings continue, and this snow continues right now, but it's going to get worse tonight. So overnight tonight through your morning commute is essentially when the heaviest snow is going to fall. Calgary, the further west you go, the heavier the snow is going to get. So in Calgary, another 5 to 10 centimeters of snow through tonight into tomorrow morning, but just west of the city, we could be seeing another 15 centimeters of snow. If I show you the radar, the deeper the blue, the heavier the snow bands, and a lot of the heavy snow right now pushing just to the east of Calgary and around even Drumheller. We've seen quite a bit of snow coming down. Currently, temperatures in Calgary, I was looking at the exact observations, 0.1 and feeling colder when you factor in the winds. Now, don't go anywhere. Our coverage will continue coming up in a moment.
Just got the school clothes, purchased. No winter clothes.
No, I know.
Sure looks fun.
Skipped a season. At this point in time, there are still snowfall warnings, not even for the snow falling now, but the heaviest is still to fall tonight.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, Natalie, what is to come, because it's really not the low pressure system that we saw brought the initial snow that's going to do the job tomorrow. It's actually high pressure and more of an upsloping kind of setup. So we'll talk more about that.
Exactly. Calgary, latest models, we were just taking a look at that. Calgary could pick up another anywhere from 9 to 11 centimeters of snow.
Wow, like this is real.
This is for real.
It's not just the dusting. Yeah, and temperatures very chilly, obviously. 0 in Calgary by tomorrow morning. Feeling, though, like about -4 and 3 degrees for Lethbridge at about -1.
Same thing as we head through the morning hours, even in Edmonton feeling like -2. So it's, across the board, across the province, and the eastern prairies are cooling as well.
The good news is that this is not going to hang around too long. You are going to start to warm up by the end of the week, back into the mid-teens, which you'll feel like you're on a tropical holiday compared to what you're seeing.
And speaking of tropical, let's show some scenes from southern Ontario, because Windsor tomorrow is going to be feeling like the mid to upper 30s.
Yeah, that's right. Total opposite trend going on in eastern Canada than what we're seeing out west. And we have the chance for active weather because of that heat and humidity, especially down towards Windsor. So 26 degrees is a base temperature, feeling like 36, as you mentioned.
Right.
First becoming a real rain story up in northwestern Ontario, but an active weather story possibly for southern Ontario.
It's interesting because a lot of these numbers, and we're working on updating these as well, some of the heavy rain could actually be south of Toronto and around Niagara Falls. And you mentioned thunderstorms. There could be more rain on top of that.
Right, and the difference between these thunderstorms and what Friday thunderstorms brought Ontario is likely more of a wind event and heavy rain. So we'll keep a very close eye. But yeah, there's a look at the humidex. So really warming up while we stay cold at west.
Flops over to running shoes as temperatures cool. For some of us across the country, we're still in that summer mindset, and out of nowhere in the last couple of days in Alberta, just like that, we've had to think about, driving in the snow, for example. So Calgary at the airport, officially as of last night, Environment Canada said 9 centimeters of snow had fallen this morning. Deb was out there with a measuring stick, and Margot as well, and they were saying, 12 centimeters of snow and likely close to 15 centimeters at this point in time. Snowfall warnings continue for Calgary through the foothills because the snow is only going to intensify through the night tonight into tomorrow morning. Be sure to keep us turned on the Weather Network here tomorrow morning. We're going to have Tom doing traffic, letting you know how the snow is impacting your drive, and it is going to be a nasty morning commute tomorrow morning. The darker the blue on the radar, the heavier the snow, and then north of Calgary, there are some stronger bands coming in. So in the next hour or so, you're likely going to get another round of snowfall, and then overnight tonight through tomorrow morning, that snow is going to continue. Now for Calgary specifically, we're saying another possibly 10 centimeters of snow through tomorrow morning. The further west you go and the higher up in elevation, the more snow you're going to see. And it's interesting because right now, taking a look at the observations, Edmonton is in more of a rain, so it really depends on temperature. And we're so close to the freezing mark. In Calgary, we're at 0.2 degrees. Edmonton, we're a couple of degrees warmer than that, so you can see snow, a rain-snow mix or the snow. Take a look at Brooks toward Medicine Hat. It's predominantly rain through tomorrow morning. Calgary is in the snow. Edmonton really isn't going to be seeing much in terms of snowfall. You could see more rain than anything else, but this is going to stay in through southern Alberta. So that's the big story heading into tomorrow morning, and Jacqueline will have more details coming up as this storm system moves into Ontario. Going out there with my camera or smartphone, I'm going to stay inside my house where it's warm until all that snow has melted. and it will melt. Don't forget, we're only in early September. And by Thursday, Friday through the weekend, Edmonton and Calgary both back into the double digits. It's still going to be cool, but it's going to be warm enough to melt all of that snow, but there's still more snow to fall. So take a look at this radar with me for a moment. Green is rain. That's what we're seeing in around Edmonton. Blue is snow, and the darker the blue, the heavier the snow, and there are some decent bands just north of Calgary right now, but eventually, Calgary's in the snowfall warning. Eventually, Calgary's going to get into some heavier snowfall. It looks to be later tonight through tomorrow morning. That morning commute is going to be a messy one. Make sure to stay with us here at the Weather Network. Tomorrow morning, Tom will have your traffic details. Again, Calgary could see another 10 centimeters of snow tonight through tomorrow. Heavier amounts the further west you go through the foothills. And let's find out what Margot has been up to today. Thank you very much, Margot. I love it because I know temperatures are around the freezing mark, but she's got the gloves and the Canada Goose jacket and the hat. If this were some light spring in, say, April, everyone would still be out there, I think, in their shorts and their flip-flops. It's just getting into that mindset that things are getting cold again. Calgary this evening, I don't think you're going to be at 2 degrees. You've been struggling to get to a half a degree at this point in time. You'll still be closer to around 1 degree or the freezing mark, and even further to the north and around Edmonton, you may hit 4, 5, maybe 6 degrees today, but it's going to be a struggle. Let's check in with the Ontario story next, though. I know Jacqueline's had a lot of information about what's going on with tomorrow's storms, and Jacqueline, it's still not exactly sure where the thunderstorms are going to be, but it could be a nastier day.
All right, so our story continues. I should say continues. Really, Natalie, you have the lead story in my mind. So look at the backdrop behind you. Tell us more.
Do you love it?
I love it.
The snow? Okay, good. That's one of us. No, I'm thinking that most people in Alberta, I think people are split. So let's take a look at what we're dealing with in terms of snowfall amounts. And then, of course, we will take a look at snowfall warnings. And there is a lot to cover. We also have amazing video from our viewers across Alberta. There are kids enjoying the snow, making snow angels, and there are parents probably driving through it, not as excited. Calgary, at this point in time, you're still under the snowfall warning, and it's more so for the snow to come tonight and tomorrow morning. There's a good chance you won't get much warmer than about a degree today in Calgary, so almost everything that falls will be snow, and you could see upwards of 10, maybe locally up to 15 centimeters of snow, but the heavier amounts will be west of Calgary through the foothills, and of course very elevation dependent. If you get up in elevation, those amounts can be a lot higher. Now Calgary is a couple of degrees warmer, warm enough to see rain. So green on the radar is rain, and you'll see this in your local forecast every 10 minutes. Green is rain, blue is snow, and the darker the blue, the heavier the snowfall, and we're seeing some decent bands right now just to the north of Calgary. In the next hour or so, you'll see some decent amounts of snow coming through. And then again, the heaviest snow is still to fall overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. So make sure to watch us tomorrow morning. Tom has all the details on your commute because I'm sure it's not going to be a very pleasant one when we're dealing with potentially 10 to 15 centimeters of snow in one of Canada's largest cities. So you can only imagine. Wednesday morning, again, blue is snow, pink is more of that rain snow mix. And just to the east of Calgary, temperatures are warm enough to maybe see some rain mixed in with the snow. And eventually you get toward Brooks and Medicine Hat, and you're more likely to see rain than snowfall. So it's very temperature dependent, even in southern Alberta as a whole. And of course, the big story tomorrow will be the snow in the morning for Alberta, then thunderstorms for Ontario in the afternoon. We'll have those stories next. Coming up, we wanted to focus on the big story first, and that would be snow. September, Calgary, Alberta. Is that what the mom said behind the camera? This radar really says it all. And you'll see a radar coming up on your local forecast every 10 minutes. But green is rain, which is what we're seeing in around Edmonton. It's a cold rain, but it's rain and not snow. And then you can see red deer, Calgary, blue equals snow. If you ever see a pink popping up, it indicates a mixture of the two. Sometimes it even represents icing. This isn't an icing event or a freezing rain event. It's either rain or snow or a mixture of the two. And again, Calgary is under the snowfall warning, and that warning extends right through the foothills down toward Pincher Creek. And there is the potential for Calgary to maybe pick up another 10 centimeters of snow tonight through tomorrow morning. Heavier amounts further west in Calgary, and then again, higher elevations will be seeing heavier amounts of snow. But Margot is in Calgary, and let's see what she's up to. Thanks, Margot. And you just reminded me of something. I love getting the kids involved when they get home from school today. Go out there with your camera or your cell phone and let them do a report from the snow, and maybe it'll end up right here on the network. I love kids giving their report on the snow out in the snow, so we look forward to seeing that. Calgary, I doubt you're going to get up to about 2 degrees today. I doubt it. Maybe a degree. That's as good as it's going to get. But feeling like -1 when you factor in the winds. And Jacqueline, it's interesting. I'm talking about wind chills. You're talking about humidex values.
I know. I think people are going to like me more today, Natalie. Just based on... No offense.
None taken.
All right, let's get into the story. Yeah.